Hello everyone. Today, I have a story I want you to hear. It's a true story, or at least, some might say it's just a rumor. But for me, it's terrifying. This is about a building that was never finished, and one that no one dares to approach. Have you ever heard of it? The story of the curse of the collapsing building? This happened over a decade ago. This place used to be an empty plot of land. Nothing but dry soil covered with weeds. Until a big company came along. They were called Dawn Construction. Nice name, right? But what happened was far from beautiful. They said they'd build a skyscraper, 30 stories tall. A mall, offices, luxury condos. They claimed it would be the city's landmark. But why? Why did the villagers whisper that this land didn't belong to us? That it already had an owner. An owner long dead. I was just a kid back then. 10 years old. I remember my mom telling me. This land used to be an old, forgotten cemetery. No records, no names. Just graves buried beneath the earth. She said that, long ago, this was where they left the bodies of those without families, or those who died unnatural deaths. Some said there was the body of a mother and her baby, murdered together. Others spoke of a bandit executed here. But no one knew for sure. Because no one dared to dig. Until that company came. The first day they started digging. I still remember. It was drizzling. The air was chilly. But the workers said they heard strange sounds. Sounds like someone crying. Some said it was the wind. Others said it was their imagination. But there was one man. Uncle Chai. He was an old worker. Uncle Chai told my mom that when they dug deep, they found an old wooden coffin. A rotting coffin. Inside was a skeleton. An incomplete skeleton. No head. One arm missing. And stranger still, there was a white cloth wrapped around it. A white cloth stained with red, like dried blood. Uncle Chai said he felt cold. Freezing. Even though the rain had stopped. He told the foreman, a guy named Brother Eck. Brother Eck was stubborn. He said, "Don't worry about it, keep digging." He thought it was just superstition. But after that, strange things started happening. Machines broke down for no reason. A backhoe, freshly repaired, suddenly died. Workers got sick. Some had high fevers. Others saw dark shadows moving around the site at night. Imagine it. A faceless shadow. Floating back and forth. Under dim lights. How terrifying would that be? But the worst was the day the building collapsed for the first time. They'd only built up to the 5th floor. Everything seemed fine. The structure was solid. Engineers checked and double-checked. Until one night. A stormy night. Lightning struck with a boom. And then, people heard a deafening crash. Thud. The building under construction. It collapsed entirely. Concrete shattered. Steel twisted. Like something had smashed it down. No one knew what happened. The engineers were baffled. The foreman was stunned. But why? How could it just collapse? After that, 3 workers died. Their bodies were buried under the rubble. Their names were Uncle Saman, Little Tum, and Brother Ko. They said that when the rescue team went in, they found handprints. Handprints gripping the concrete. Like someone had tried to pull themselves out. But it was so strange. Those handprints didn't belong to the dead workers. They were larger, with long nails. And most importantly, they were covered in fresh blood. Even though 2 days had passed. What do you think it was? After that incident, the company tried to rebuild. They changed engineers, changed teams. But every time they tried, something stopped them. Once, a crane collapsed, killing 2 more workers. I remember their names. Brother Red and Little Jack. Brother Red was the crane operator. He died on the spot. Little Jack. He was pierced through the leg by a steel rod. He screamed, "Help! Help!" But no one could get to him in time. Another time, a fire broke out. It engulfed the entire site. Flames roared from the ground floor to the top. No one knew where the fire came from. No fuel, nothing flammable. But every time, workers reported hearing a voice. A wailing cry. "Give me back my land." It came from underground. Deep, echoing. Like something was down there. I went there once. When I was older, 17. I wanted to know. To see it for myself. By then, the building was abandoned. Just a half-finished structure. Cracked concrete, rusted steel. I went with 2 friends, Little Mew and Brother Tree. We went in the evening, as the sun was setting. And it was so quiet. Eerily quiet. No birds, no wind. Just silence. But then, I heard it. Footsteps. Thud, thud, thud. I turned to look. But no one was there. Little Me laughed, "Are you hearing things?" But Brother Tree, he went pale. He whispered, "I heard it too." The 3 of us started feeling uneasy. I said, "Let's go back." But Brother Tree said, "Wait, I want to be sure." He walked closer to the building. Little Mew and I followed. And then, we saw it. A dark shadow. Standing at the corner of the building. It was tall. Almost 2 meters. and its eyes red like blood. Little Mew screamed, "What is that?" I grabbed Brother Tree's arm, but he didn't move. He stared at it, and it turned to look at us. I saw its face. A face with no eyes, no nose, just a wide, terrifying smile. I ran for my life. Little Mew ran with me. But Brother Tree, he stayed there. I shouted, "Brother Tree, run!" But he didn't move. I looked back, and that dark shadow, it reached out, a hand unnaturally long. It grabbed Brother Tree's shoulder, and then he vanished, gone right before our eyes. I cried. I was so scared. Little Mew and I ran home. We didn't stop. We didn't look back. But I knew it was following us. The sound of its footsteps grew louder. Thud, thud, thud. Until we reached home. And everything went silent. That night, I dreamt. I saw a woman in a white dress, her long hair covering her face. She stood at the foot of my bed and said, "Don't go back there." Her voice was hoarse, like someone who hadn't spoken in years. I woke up, drenched in sweat. And worse, Brother Tree was really gone. His family searched all night, but there was no trace. No footprints. No sign. Like he'd never been with us. After that, others tried to go to that building. A local reporter named Brother Man. He thought it was just a rumor. He took a camera, went to film at night, and he disappeared. 2 days later, the police found his camera. It was lying at the building's entrance. And in the camera, there was a video. It showed him starting to film. He said, "It's so quiet here. I don't believe in ghosts or anything like that." But then, the camera shook. He shouted, "What's that? Who's there?" And the last image, a dark shadow, turning to face the camera, red eyes, and that smiling mouth. The video cut off there. To this day, that building still stands, abandoned, a half-finished skeleton, covered in cracks. Some say that if you pass by at night, you'll hear crying, screaming, and sometimes the sound of steel creaking, screch, like something scratching it. Some claim they've seen a woman in white wandering. Others say they've seen multiple dark shadows. Not just one. I don't know what it is. Ghosts, spirits, or just a curse. But one thing's for sure. I'm never going back there. Ever. But the story doesn't end there. Last year, a group of 5 teenagers. They called themselves the Ghost Hunters. They heard the story and wanted to prove it wrong. They went to the building at midnight with cameras, flashlights, and they live-streamed it on social media. I watched the stream. A friend sent me the link. At first, everything seemed normal. They were laughing, joking, "Where's the ghost? There's nothing here." But then, the camera started shaking. One of them yelled, "Quiet! Do you hear that?" And everyone froze. There was a sound. A little girl crying. "Mommy! Mommy!" The camera turned to the corner of the building. And there was a little girl in a tattered white dress, her long hair covering her face. One of them screamed, "What is that?" And the stream cut off. The next morning, the police went to search. They found only a camera and a single sneaker. But the 5 teenagers, gone. No trace. No blood. Nothing. But in the camera, there was a short clip. An image of that little girl, turning to face the camera. Her face pale. Her eyes pitch black. And she said, "Stay with me." Imagine it. A tiny girl making 5 people disappear. How terrifying is that? And if you want to go and see for yourself, let me warn you. Be careful. Because sometimes what you find might not just be a shadow, not just a ghost, but something that's been waiting for you for a long time. And if you hear crying or footsteps, thud, 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 don't look back, because it might be smiling at you. That's the end. So, are you brave enough to go?